Edinburgh, the Athens of the North, is a city so steeped in Gothic charm and literary history that you might never want to leave its cobblestone winds. From the imposing majesty of Edinburgh Castle to the haunting beauty of the Royal Mile and the dormant volcano of Arthur's Seat, the city is a masterpiece of urban design. But as any local will tell you, the true soul of Scotland is found in the rugged landscapes, historic strongholds, and misty glens that lie just beyond the city bypass. The capital serves not just as a destination, but as a gateway to the wild, untamed beauty of the north. Edinburgh is the perfect jumping-off point for some of the most iconic experiences in the United Kingdom. In 2026, navigating Scotland has become even more accessible, but it still requires a bit of insider knowledge to avoid the crowds and find the most scenic routes. Get ready, because we've mapped out the absolute best day trips from Scotland's capital, including the smartest ways to navigate the rails and the best ways to experience the Highlands without the stress of driving on the left. But before we set off on our Scottish Odyssey, we have a quick favor to ask. If you love discovering historic cities and wild landscapes, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It helps us keep the channel growing and allows us to bring you these in-depth, research-backed guides. And for our comments today, if you could spend a night in any Scottish castle, which one would it be and why? Are you a fan of the coastal ruins, or do you prefer the fortified palaces in the mountains? Let us know below. We love hearing your picks. And now, let's begin our journey through the Highlands and beyond. One, Loch Ness and the Scottish Highlands. Our first unmissable destination is the legendary Loch Ness. Nestled deep within the Great Glen, this massive body of water contains more fresh water than all the lakes in England and Wales combined. While it is world famous for its elusive inhabitant, Nessie, the journey to reach it is just as spectacular as the destination itself. As you head north, the landscape transforms from the rolling hills of the lowlands into the dramatic, jagged peaks of the Highlands, passing through the hauntingly beautiful Glencoe. This is perhaps Scotland's most famous glen, known for the Three Sisters Peaks and the sombre ruins of Urquhart Castle, which sits precariously on the edge of the loch. If you are planning to get to Loch Ness independently, be prepared for a long day. You would typically take a train from Edinburgh, Waverley, to Inverness, which takes roughly 3.5 hours one way. From Inverness, you would then need to catch a local bus or a taxi to reach the loch side. Because the total distance covers over 300 miles round trip, attempting this via public transport in a single day is extremely taxing and leaves you with very little time to actually explore the shoreline or take a boat cruise. Highland weather is notoriously fickle, so even if Edinburgh is sunny, pack a waterproof shell and dress in layers. For a completely hassle-free experience that maximizes every daylight hour, the day tour to Loch Ness, Glencoe, and the Scottish Highlands is the most popular choice for a reason. It handles the 12-hour driving loop perfectly, including stops at the most iconic viewpoints in Glencoe and a guided cruise on the loch, allowing you to focus on the myths and legends rather than the GPS. You can find the link in the description. 2. Glenfinnan Viaduct and Fort William. For fans of iconic cinema and dramatic engineering, the Glenfinnan Viaduct is an absolute must-see. This stunning curved railway bridge, with its 21 massive arches, is recognizable to millions as the route of the Hogwarts Express. But even if you've never seen a Harry Potter film, the sight of this Victorian concrete marvel set against the backdrop of Loch Shiel is breathtaking. The area is also home to the Glenfinnan Monument, marking where the final Jacobite Rising began in 1745. Most travellers combine this with a visit to Fort William, the outdoor capital of the UK, which sits at the foot of Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the British Isles. Reaching Glenfinnan on your own involves a train to Glasgow Queen Street, followed by the West Highland Line. While this is often voted the most beautiful train journey in the world, the infrequent schedule makes it nearly impossible to do a round trip from Edinburgh in one day while having enough time to hike to the Viaduct viewpoints. If your goal is to see the steam train cross the Viaduct, you must time your visit perfectly with the morning or afternoon pass. To take the guesswork out of the equation, the day tour is specifically timed to ensure you are at the best vantage point when the train whistles through. It's a seamless way to see the Harry Potter Bridge and the deep history of the West Highlands, often including a stop in the charming Victorian village of Pitlochry on the way back. Check the link in the description below. 3. Kelpie's Stirling Castle and Loch Lomond. This route offers a fascinating transition from Scotland's industrial innovation to its ancient royal power and serene natural beauty. You'll start at the Kelpies, two colossal 30-metre-high steel horse heads that pay homage to the working horses of Scotland's history. From there, the journey moves to Stirling Castle, the childhood home of Mary Queen of Scots. Perched on a volcanic crag, it was the key to the Highlands. The day often culminates at Loch Lomond, part of Scotland's first national park, where the Bonny Banks offer some of the most romantic vistas in the country. Stirling is very accessible independently. A direct train from Edinburgh Waverley takes about 50 minutes. However, the Kelpies are located in nearby Falkirk, and Loch Lomond is significantly further west. Attempting to link all three using public transport is a logistical headache involving multiple bus transfers that rarely align. For those who want to see the steel horses, the medieval palace, and the Highland Loch in a single day, it is much more efficient to skip the train station and opt for a dedicated vehicle. To bridge the gap between these spread-out landmarks, the Loch Lomond, Kelpies and Stirling Castle tour is the most popular way to go. It's a perfectly curated loop that gets you from the industrial wonders to the mountain vistas of the Trossachs without the stress of navigating busy A-roads. The link is in the description. 4. Outlander filming locations. Scotland's history feels incredibly alive at every turn. But for fans of the Outlander series, certain sites in the Lothians and Fife are practically sacred ground. This journey takes you to the formidable Loch Ness Castle, a 15th century fortress on the Firth of Forth, known as the ship that never sailed, due to its pointed stone prow. From there, you can explore Doune Castle, which fans recognize as Castle Loch, but history buffs know as a masterpiece of medieval architecture and a favorite filming site for everything from Monty Python to Game of Thrones. The trail often culminates in the royal burgh of Culross, a village that has remained virtually unchanged since the 17th century, where you can walk the same cobblestones Claire and Jamie once did. While you can reach the general area of Stirling and the Wallace Monument easily by rail, these specific filming locations are tucked away in rural corners that are notoriously difficult to access without a car. Culross and Loch Ness in particular have very limited bus services from Edinburgh, and trying to connect them in a single day via public transport would involve hours of waiting at rural junctions. To see the full scope of the series' backdrop, including the imposing Stirling Castle, you really need a dedicated route that understands the geography of these historic sites. To truly step into the world of the Jacobites without the stress of navigating narrow country lanes, the Outlander Adventure Day tour is an excellent choice. It includes entry to the key sites and a guide who can separate the TV fiction from the even more fascinating real history of the clans. You'll find the link to this adventure in the description. 5. St. Andrews and the fishing villages of Fife. St. Andrews is globally recognized as the home of golf, but it is also a town of immense academic and religious significance, housing the oldest university in Scotland. Beyond the famous Old Course and its iconic Swilcan Bridge, you'll find the hauntingly beautiful ruins of St. Andrew's Cathedral, which was once the largest church in the country. The town itself is a vibrant blend of medieval history and coastal charm, with its castle ruins overlooking the North Sea and narrow streets filled with traditional Scottish shops. The journey through the Kingdom of Fife also allows you to experience the East Neuk, a series of picturesque fishing villages like Anstruther, famous for its historic harbour and award-winning seafood. To reach St. Andrews independently, you can take a train from Edinburgh to Lushar Station, about 1 hour, then jump on the frequent 99 shuttle bus for a 15-minute ride into the town centre. While the town itself is very accessible, visiting the smaller coastal villages like Anstruther or the historic Falkland village on the same day is quite difficult without your own vehicle. Public bus connections between the villages are scenic but slow, often making it a choice between seeing St. Andrews thoroughly or rushing through the coast. While in St. Andrews, make sure to walk down to West Sands Beach, the famous filming location for the opening scenes of Chariots of Fire. For a day that captures the salty coastal charm of the fishing villages alongside the majesty of the cathedral and the university, the St. Andrews and Fishing Villages of Fife tour offers a perfectly curated route. It even includes a stop in Queensferry for a close-up view of the UNESCO-listed Forth Bridge, ensuring you see the best of Fife in a single day. Check the link in the description. 6. The Isle of Skye and West Highlands. We must note that the Isle of Skye is not exactly a day trip. At over 5 hours from Edinburgh, it is far too distant for a single day of travel. Instead, this is for those who don't mind a multi-day adventure to see the absolute pinnacle of Scottish scenery. These journeys allow you to slow down and explore the fairy pools, the jagged peaks of the Quiraing, and the colourful harbour of Portree. Along the way, you'll also experience the best of the West Highlands, including stops at the atmospheric Luss village, the romantic ruins of Kilchurn Castle, and the iconic island Donan Castle. Trying to navigate Skye via public transport is notoriously difficult, as local buses are infrequent and don't always reach the most famous trailheads like the Old Man of Storr. Most travellers who attempt this independently find themselves spending more time at bus stops than at viewpoints. By choosing a multi-day journey, you ensure you have a dedicated driver who can navigate the narrow, winding, single-track roads of the island, allowing you to simply stare out the window at the mist-covered mountains. Skye is incredibly popular in 2026, and accommodation can be impossible to find last minute. Booking a multi-day tour is the smartest way to ensure you have a guaranteed bed and a seat on the bus. Depending on your schedule, you can choose from 3-day, 4-day, or 5-day tours. These options cover everything from the Ferry Glen and Dunvegan Castle to the Skye Bridge and Loch Ness, providing a comprehensive Scottish odyssey that we've touched on in this video minutes ago. The links to these multi-day experiences are in the description. 7. East Lothian. If you are looking for a breath of fresh sea air, without travelling deep into the Highlands, East Lothian is Edinburgh's stunning backyard. This region is defined by its rugged coastline, golden beaches, and the charming seaside town of North Berwick. The undisputed highlight here is Tantallon Castle, a formidable 14th century red sandstone fortress perched precariously on a cliff edge. From its battlements, you get a dizzying view of the Bass Rock, a massive volcanic island that plays host to one of the world's largest colonies of northern gannets. It's a place where the power of medieval engineering meets the raw force of the North Sea. Getting to North Berwick independently is one of the easiest trips you can make from the capital. A direct train from Edinburgh Waverley takes just 35 minutes and drops you right in the centre of town. However, once you arrive, the logistics of reaching the more dramatic sites like Tantallon Castle or the secluded beaches of Seacliff become more challenging. Tantallon is about a 3-mile walk from the station, and while the coastal path is beautiful, it can be time-consuming if you only have a few hours to explore. For those who want to see the best sands and castles without the long walks or the need for a car, the East Lothian Highlights Day trip is an excellent choice. This tour often includes hidden gems and coastal viewpoints that are difficult to find on your own, making it a perfect, relaxing escape from the city bustle. Link is in the description. 8. The Bamburgh and Alnwick Castles. Crossing the border into Northumberland, England, you'll encounter two of the most spectacular fortresses in the British Isles. Alnwick Castle is perhaps most famous today as a filming location for the first 2 Harry Potter films, where the Outer Bailey was used for those iconic broomstick flying lessons. Just up the coast sits Bamburgh Castle, a massive stronghold built on a basalt outcrop that has stood guard over the North Sea for over 1,000 years. The site of Bamburgh's ancient stone walls rising from the dunes is one of the most cinematic views in the United Kingdom, offering a stark contrast to the refined, palatial feel of Alnwick. To reach these castles on your own, you would typically take a train from Edinburgh to Alnmouth Station, then wait for a local bus to Alnwick. Reaching both Bamburgh and Alnwick in a single day via public transport is a significant challenge, as the bus connections between the two castles are infrequent and often don't align with the return train schedule to Edinburgh. To see both of these English titans and cross the border effortlessly, the day trip to Bamburgh and Alnwick Castle is the most convenient way to go. It ensures you have enough time to explore the grand staterooms and the coastal views without worrying about the train timetable. Find the link in the description. 9. Hadrian's Wall in Roman Britain. Finally, for those who want to step back nearly 2,000 years, a journey to Hadrian's Wall offers a profound look at the northern frontier of the Roman Empire. This UNESCO World Heritage Site stretches across the narrowest part of northern England, and walking along the well-preserved ruins of the wall amidst the rolling, wind-swept hills of the borders is a truly atmospheric experience. You'll see the remnants of mile castles and barracks that once housed soldiers from across the Roman world, standing as a silent testament to the scale and ambition of an empire that once ruled from Britain to the Sahara. Attempting to see Hadrian's Wall via public transport from Edinburgh is an arduous task. The wall covers 73 miles, and the most scenic intact sections, like Steel Rig or the fort at Housesteads, are far from any major rail line. You would likely need to take a train to Newcastle or Carlisle, and then attempt to navigate a seasonal AD 122 bus service, which can be confusing and time-consuming for a single-day trip. The Hadrian's Wall and Roman Britain one-day tour is the best way to see the wall's highlights, along with the beautiful Scottish borders, including a stop at Jedburgh Abbey. And there you have it, a comprehensive guide to the 9 most breathtaking day trips and adventures you can take from Edinburgh. From the mythical, monster-hunting depths of Loch Ness, to the coastal magic of St. Andrews and the ancient Roman stones of Hadrian's Wall, Edinburgh truly is the beating heart of the North and the ultimate gateway to the very best of Scotland and beyond. Which of these journeys has captured your imagination the most? Are you ready to brave the Highlands on a day trip? Or are you planning a multi-day odyssey to the Isle of Skye? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We absolutely love hearing from our travel community and learning from your experiences. If you found this guide helpful for your future travel planning, please give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth travel guides and hit that notification bell so you're always updated on our latest adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.